In my ideal community, I think sort of housing estates, families. So yeah, and always busy, always bustling. I feel a lot happier and safer when there's lots of people.
You could just come outside and you'd see people in the gardens and, you know, you'd go over and have a chat and stuff.
Community where everybody knows each other and kind of helping each other and being there for each other.
Which is quite a nice feeling. You just sort of feel safe in your environment.
Well, I'd be able to leave my front door open, back door open, like I used to be able to in the old days.
You could feel maybe that you didn't have to have your house full of security, you know, alarms, bolts, locks on everything.
It's not like it used to be before we got the fencing put up. I mean, like we used to all get together in the summer and we'd sit outside and get the kids paddling pools out and stuff. And we used to have, you know, a nice time and stuff. And now it's like we don't really do anything, you know.
Before I came, I'd heard about the murder on Silk Street, it was on Silk Street, I'd heard it on the news.
A young girl was basically stabbed and killed by a guy, and another woman had tried to intervene.
I found it quite intimidating and frightening. I know you shouldn't sort of ignore things like that, but I didn't want to hear it. I found it quite frightening.
You have like multiple sweat attacks and your heart just races when you enter Silk Street, which is stupid because it could happen anywhere, you know, but just Silk Street's renowned for being not a nice area, so yeah, it's not nice.
It's very difficult. I tend not to think about it really. It's like, oh yeah, it's happened, and for a while you feel a bit on edge and, you know, who's lurking around and stuff, but then you have to forget about it because it would just completely take over your life if you didn't.
The newspapers and the media obviously influence the way people think. Their aim is to sell the story. I mean, yeah, they're a business, you know, like everybody else. They're sort of going to exaggerate all the points to make a good story.
They overkill on everything, you know, and sensationalism sells papers.
We don't get many good news stories, to be honest. You know, it's bad news that tends to make the press.
It sounds awful, but there's nothing in this area. It's just streets and houses, and some of the houses aren't lived in. Everything seems run down. It gives you the impression that it is a deprived area.
I've heard of incidences of shops being robbed, and I know a lot of businesses have closed down here because of that very reason, you know, because of the vandalism and being robbed, etc., etc.
Once the shops have closed at the night here, you haven't got anything really, you know.
And I don't feel safe at all. It's on my mind all the time, constantly.
I won't go out at night on my own now. I will not venture out. I feel it's very unsafe.
I don't really like to go out at night, that's when everyone's out.
I won't even go out at night. Very rare I go out at night.
It is scary, very scary. When they're walking around the area, people tend not to carry handbags anymore because there's been a lot of muggings.
If there wasn't the incident of crime that there was, people would feel a lot more secure and easier in themselves.
I think my personal safety, the fear of actually being mugged isn't so serious as actually being raped or sexual attack. That probably puts fear of God into me.
I don't think they set out to do it, but I just think, you know, you see a group of lads and you kind of close down a little bit and you're a bit wary.
They're all like, they wear hoodies and stuff and they hang around and they're very intimidating. It's just scary to think of what they could do.
In the flats, there's 24-hour security. It's got gates around it which have got pointy spiky bits on the top.
I've got an alarm. I've got a Rottweiler.
You have a tag which you swipe to open the pedestrian gate to get in.
Wind locks, bolts, mortars, you name it.
I don't sleep much, so anything goes off. I'm usually prowling around the house at night.
It is a bit like being imprisoned, yes. I do feel like that, yes.